right. So John, I am going to share the screen with you so you can go. All right. So
do I need to take control?
Yeah, you should be stop sharing. So you should.
Let me do my share screen. Got
Okay.
it. I think I'm here. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yep, perfect. Okay, so I just want to welcome everyone again. If you should have gotten an email from the admin giving you access to your new designation YouTube page. John Jurgen is going to teach you some tricks to getting your listings on the homepage of Google through YouTube. And then afterwards will be available for a lot of questions. If you have questions, please put them in the chat and we'll get to them during the breaks. Okay, so take it away, John.
Okay, perfect. Hey, great to see everybody here today. We're just gonna, like I said, run through some YouTube hacks, if you will, ways to kind of master the channel. And so I'm gonna just dive in. Again, we're always available for questions. My information will be at the end of the presentation. I can always throw in the chat as well, grab it. Always love to network with you guys. Just so you know, I am a lender. I know a few of the people involved in this project because I'm out here in the same world you guys are every day, fighting the same battle. So that's how I kind of get tied into this project. So obviously, or hopefully, everybody here is aware of YouTube. For those who may not know, YouTube is owned by Google. Google being the largest search engine, YouTube being the largest video search engine. And obviously, when we go out and do extensive searches within the Google platform, when there is a video that's going to be relevant to that search, it's going to show up. And so again, when you operate in the environment of Google, it can bring up all kinds of, images, video, web pages, all those kind of results can show up. YouTube, again, being a place where we think is a really strong place to be marketing and kind of building your brand. So we'll dive into that. So real quick, everybody here, you can chime into the chat. You can yell out if it makes you feel better. But rapid fire question again is, when is the last time you watched a YouTube video and when is the last time you posted a video? So real quick, everybody in the chat, just when is the last time you watched a YouTube video? And then when is the last time that you posted a video? Watched today, posted last week. Thank you, Scott. Kelly, you haven't been on YouTube for 2 weeks. What are you doing with your life? Watch daily. I get my news there, right? I'm kind of been sucked into this whole Ukrainian war thing, not to get political on people, but you've noticed that in the media, it's kind of been diminishing. You got to watch a couple hours of media. So I get my quick war updates, check where the boundary line has moved to, all the exciting news. Obviously here on the screen, what I see a lot of people doing is we're checking our game scores. Maybe again, we were doing a barbecue this week. So we were looking up tips on how to barbecue that tri-tip, or maybe we were even doing a property search, right? There's all kinds of things, content that we go out and find on YouTube. I'd say everything is on YouTube if you look far enough and wide enough, okay? So great, so everybody's familiar with it. I think you'd have to live under a rock to not know what YouTube is in this day and age. But still, people I don't think always understand the power of it when we talk about all the different social media channels and marketing channels that we see every day in our personal and business lives, right? So moving right along here. Does anybody here have a success story, a referral, a friend, even somebody just saying, hey, I saw your content, even if they didn't say that was the reason they reached out to you? Anybody have success stories in posting content, having anybody acknowledge that content? Bueller, anybody? Yes, no?
I do, and I know that Mr. Chatsworth does, but he's driving, and we're gonna get to
no
him.
worries. And I don't mean to make it painful here, people. So you're like, please don't make me talk. That's fine. Okay. So let's just.
I didn't know you wanted people to talk. I've been posting for like a year, and I started to get people reaching out to me about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Okay, and what type of content are you putting out there, Scott?
I'm doing neighborhood tours, market updates, and around the holidays, kind of like top 5 in X city.
Awesome. Okay, all those resonate with some of the things we talk about today. So let's dive in here again. We've alluded to it, really kind of talking about what kind of audience interaction do we see. We get 500 hours of content uploaded every minute across the world on YouTube, right? So 1 billion videos are watched every day. 8 out of 10 people in our kind of prime demographics are 18 to 50-year-olds, if you will, watch a YouTube video monthly. 10,000 videos have generated 1 billion views. So 10,000 individual videos that were so compelling in their top 5 topics or things to know about this neighborhood or whatever else, that each one of those videos got over 1 billion views. So 10,000. So it wasn't like just, gee, you know, so-and-so's video did that once. It's possible, right? And 122 million daily active users. Don't we wish those were all in Carlsbad looking up real estate, right? So what we're going to spend a few minutes on today is kind of trying to understand how to harness that. What are a couple of basic best practices? We're not going to cover everything, every tips and trick, everything. That's further content that we'll continue to develop for you guys. We're always happy, again, I'm always happy to have those conversations. Again, one of the reasons I know some of the people involved in this is because I've spent some time trying to help you guys get better at content creation and get out there in front of the world. So what we do know is the basics of optimizing video comes down to how we title, describe, tag that content, right? And I put a plus more on here because there's a little bit that I realized as we were creating this kind of short, you know, basic lesson on YouTube. There's a little bit more that we want to do kind of in the setup phase. I'll touch on that, that we kind of almost skipped over, but all real basic stuff that we can almost do probably live today. And again, if not, if you're engaged in this content, you're not in a position where you can actually take some of these actions or steps. Like I said, we're all going to be available to you further on. So don't feel like if you didn't see something, you didn't hear it today, do not feel like this is your last opportunity to hear it, talk about it, spend some time with me or anybody else getting this stuff developed for you. So we're going to dive right in. Instead of diving right in and showing you this specifically, we're going to go to what we think are some best practices, kind of the foundation that we want you guys to start with. So I want to plant the seed really strong, right? We're going to show you how to get your YouTube channel up if it's not quote unquote up. I mean, it's up, but populate it, put some meaningful content behind it. I don't know why my number's numbered like that, but anyway, 4 key foundational pieces of content that we need you guys to create because we've actually seen results from having these 4 pieces of content, all numbered number 1 for some reason in my spreadsheet here. But anyway, what we call the phone number video is going to be critical to have in there, and you'll see why. I'll do a quick demo of that. The Mr. or Ms. city name, so who are you, right? Local business affiliation, and then listing specific content. And so again, I'll talk about why these are important and what the themes are, but really planting those seeds. Phone number video, Mr. or Ms. city name, local business affiliations, and listing specific content. Those 4 are where we're going to start, and we're going to have some recurring themes in those topics as you go on further developing content for your channel. Okay. So video content creation, number 1, again, the first foundational piece that I want to talk to you guys about is really a simple, fun idea, but it's very practical. And where this comes from is really when I was sharing with my business partners, my different realtor partners out there, and in all kinds of small business, really all kinds of entrepreneurs trying to grow their brand, is the idea that we're very nervous about getting on camera. There's a number of us who kind of shy away from this idea of getting on camera. And so there's 2 folds to this. There's 2 kind of wins that come out of creating this piece of content. The reason I like to create what I call the phone number video here is because I like to tell each one of you to make this the first video you create and to use this video to help you get over the nervousness of filming yourself on camera, right? So the idea of a phone number video is that we're in sales. We're all in business development and sales. And we pick up our phones and we call people hopefully every day that we're out there prospecting and developing new business. So if we're doing our job, we're calling people that have never heard from us before, right? We're, of course, tapping into our past friends and referrals, but Debbie Sue says, hey, Betty Sue is a friend of mine. She might be in the market, or she mentioned the other day her daughter might be in the market, whatever that, you know what that looks like, right, guys? So you pick up the phone and you call her and you don't get her. And what does she see at the other end of her phone? She sees a number that she does not recognize. And what do we do when we see a phone number come across our phone that we don't recognize? Most of the time, we don't answer it. A lot of times, going back to people's use of Google and YouTube, a lot of times we Google it. Who is this person? What can I find out about this person? If I'm getting an unsolicited number, if I don't recognize something because I spend so much time on my computers or engaged with my mobile devices and phones, it's really easy for me to do a quick Google search and pop things up. So that's where this idea came from, right? And so each one of you want to play the game with me real quick. If you're in front of your computer, if not, don't sweat it. I'll do the example for you. But if you would Google my phone number, 310-625-2928. And it doesn't look like my links working here, no big deal. I was trying to put links in the presentation. So I'm going to do it for you, everybody here. Hopefully you can still see my screen. I'm actually going to go to Google. Actually, I'll do it on Yahoo, even though I prefer Google. Most of the world prefers Google. I've got Yahoo right now set as a default. Wow. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. God, this guy, John Jurgen, is everywhere. Okay, what in the world is going on with this phone number? So I click on it. Oh my God, it landed me on a YouTube channel. That's crazy. I wonder how that worked out. And it's a little slow.
Did you get a call from 310-625-2928? That's me, John Jurgen, here at the Right Home Mortgage. I was probably just giving you a call to talk to you about what's going on in the real estate market, connect you with one of my referral partners, or answer any questions you had on the process of getting approved for home financing. John Jurgen, the Right Home Mortgage, 310-625-2928. You got a call from me. It was just me reaching out to help you out. Thanks again.
So again, the idea is that if anybody were to look up your phone number, and again, so we're going to get back to this in a minute and really cement this idea. Let's get rid of these guys. Okay. So the idea is, of course, is that people do look up your phone numbers. And one of the reasons that you saw, when you saw my phone, when I typed in my phone number, anybody Googles my phone number, you didn't just see my phone number video. You started to see a ton of my content roll out. And that's going to go back to the lessons we're going to teach you about titles, descriptions, and tags. But again, main point of this particular slide, this point in our conversation, is this is a great piece of content for you to create to launch your YouTube channel. Those of you like Scott who've been producing content, you've been putting out there, you can repurpose the content you've already created and bring it over to your Mr. Carlsbad or whatever your affiliated brand is, right? Or you can begin to create new content. But this is a piece that I think is critical. And again, because we're talking about your brand here, and we'll get to that as we move forward here in the next slide, you have a Mr. or Ms. city designation, right? So let's jump into that. So when I'm starting to talk about additional content pieces that I want to creating a video and creating all your content videos to have consistency with things like your phone number, your email address, your brand name, right? Those are really important as you move forward. And that is why we're seeing that when we look at one of these pieces of terminology, that we start to see the linking of a bunch of different content, right? It's because I am very consistent in the description and the tagging of the content as I post it up there. The title is always going to be unique. We'll talk about that, what those titles should look like, but the descriptions and the tags are always going back to what I know, which is real estate in my local market, terminology like home buying in my market, Mr. Long Beach. Again, I just use as an example here. Again, phone numbers in multiple formats, all the different terminology should be getting built in there so that there is a likelihood of somebody discovering one piece of content that leading to the discovery of other pieces of content. And again, if somebody were specifically wanting to do research you on as a realtor, I get introduced to Scott. Scott, sorry to use your example, you're just easy. But I get introduced to Scott, and now I want to vet Scott. When I go out there to YouTube and I type in his name or his city, or I heard about Mr. This, or this phone number, or whatever, I got referred to this person. Who is this person? It isn't one video popping in. It isn't one piece of content. It is going to be pages and pages of content over time, because you've built that much content out that appears. And what does that say about you and your brand? It says that you own the market. It says that you're an expert and a professional, when people start to see that much kind of great content and the diversity of the type of content that we're going to have you guys produce. And again, going back to why are we telling you to create these first 4 pieces of foundational content? One is to cover the different areas, the meaningful areas of content. B, to get you started on the right track, to build healthy habits, to creating content consistently across different topics. And to really, like I said, we call it a foundational kind of message here, because exactly that. I want you guys within just a couple of days to have somebody land on your new brand here, and your site find you within the Google universe and in YouTube, and not just find a phone number video, but to find these multiple foundational pieces.
So I think one of the things that aren't clear with these slides, everyone, is that when John did his with his phone number and I've done it with my phone number, it's the first page of Google. It's the first thing that shows up when I search that number, right? So it's my message versus whatever Google's saying. So when someone clicks on, goes my number, it's the first thing that shows up. On slide 2, with Mr. Chatsworth, for example, what's happening is again, people are going to be like, well, who is this Mr. Big Bear? Who is this Mr. Chatsworth, right? You Google it, he's done the videos in YouTube. So now they're showing up on Google, because people aren't going to YouTube searching Mr. Chatsworth. They're going to Google searching Mr. Chatsworth, right? So it's important that now we're controlling the message that's being put out there by the tricks that we're going to get to with the titles. So I want that to be very clear, because it's not showing up, that we're showing up. If you type in your computers Mr. Chatsworth, you're going to see him on the first page. If you type in John's phone number, you're going to see that being the top result. All right. So
and your point, like I said, so I did do it just because Yahoo popped up. Being any of these, right? We love Google because Google really is the leader. You don't hear a lot of people saying, I'm going to Bing something today, I'm going to Yahoo something today, right? Everybody says, I'm going to Google it, right? It is the leading, dominating search engine. So here, just to bring it back home, I've gone to the Google search engine, I've typed in my phone number, and not only do I own the first spot, and I've done a couple of these videos, is why you see me pop up. But not only do I own the first spot, the map, it's taking you to my business page, right? It knows who I am. Okay, there's a ton of content coming up here around my company everywhere I've been listed. So it just, like I said, if somebody were to use a simple search piece of information like my phone number, because I'm consistently creating all kinds of content and I'm making sure that I always reference my brand, my phone number, my certain key pieces of information, that it makes those searches highly relevant. It has me rank, it has my content ranked high among those searches, right? And so let's just look at that next one again, because we hadn't quite done that. But when I type in Mr. Chatsworth, again, it's such a relevant term, right? Obviously, we've branded it that when you do that search, you're going to find both searches of content, all different types of stuff, whether it's images, it's content being produced, it's a video content for YouTube. When you do that search here, and I'll do it real quick for you guys, you're going to find
we don't see your screen when you do the searches.
Oh.
So let's go to the next slide.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying you see my screen now?
Yeah, we see those, but we don't see it when you do your searches.
Oh, got it. It doesn't. When I'm jumping over, I see. You're saying it's not following me and maintaining the search. Okay. So, and maybe these will link here. So same thing. Now, we're talking about, so just make sure I step back here. Phone number video. Okay. What is the phone number video? It's, did you call this number? Here's who I am, and here's why I called. And it's just a very friendly, quick outgoing message, right? Mr. Chatsworth or Mr. whatever your town is. Tell people who I am. I'm a local realtor. I work this thing. I'm known in this area, whatever it is. Again, there's no specific script. I can always help you with scripting, but there is no specific script to this video. It's about creating that content. And like I said, in a few minutes, we'll get into the titles, descriptions, and tags that power these searches. But I want to make sure you understand that. So phone number, your brand, this new brand in the DLE network, right? And then video number 3. We want you to affiliate yourself in the local community. So this is the third piece of foundational video, but this is going to be an ongoing piece of content that you need to be creating regularly. You need to be going out and talking with local businesses and affiliates, sole proprietors, small business owners in your local community because of what that says about you. First of all, people are always doing searches on these other businesses, right? So Mr. Chatsworth went and ate at Porto's. And by going,
first of all, does anyone know what Porto's is? It's a bakery. It's a very famous bakery. And so what happens is every day people are Googling Porto's, right? Every day. I mean, there's a line out the door. So now what happened is it doesn't really matter what the video is in this situation, but if you type in Porto's Chatsworth, the video about Porto's is Mr. Chatsworth's video.
Yep. So we type in, there's different searches. And so this is feedback too. So you experiment with something. So Mr. Chatsworth in the image I'm showing here actually lands on page 2. And why did Mr. Chatsworth in one of my searches show up on page 2, even though it's a super relevant search? Because it was Mr. Chatsworth going to Porto's. The terminology used in and we're going to get to this in a minute, in the title and the description, dining at Porto's. So when we are producing content, thinking about how people would search for that particular restaurant, but writing your title and your description in such a way that it's very, I guess I want to say, what is the natural way I would look for Porto's, the new Porto's in Chatsworth, because that's all the buzz when a Porto's comes to town, right? So I've been to Porto's in Chatsworth. Right. And I think the terminology used in Mr. Chatsworth post that again, when I do different searches, he shows up from the first page to the second page. And the point I'm trying to make here is the difference in the reason why he shows up in different positions at different times is directly related to the title and description that he entered on the back end of the video. When he put the video up on YouTube and he said, hey, I was dining at Porto's versus some other possible search, Porto's Chatsworth, Mr. Chatsworth visited Porto's, whatever the different types of sayings, titles, descriptions will have a factor based on that search terminology, right? It's the correlation between what people are typing into the search engine and what you title and describe it. So the difference, and the reason I'm showing a couple different pages on my screen here, was the different rankings of where he came up depending on whether I put dining at Porto's restaurant in Chatsworth, Mr. Chatsworth at Porto's, whatever these things are, change the positioning of where his video and where his content showed up. And so that's going to be a little bit of kind of trial and error and some understanding of kind of common sense. When I go search for a restaurant, what is the terminology I put in? Can I get myself to show up in more of these Porto searches by specifically configuring my title in a certain way? And the answer to that question is yes. So paying attention to your title. Mr. Chatsworth could go back in here. He could play around with his terminology, this description, this title, and he can get this video to start ranking higher by just simply going in and adjusting the titles on a couple of these videos. And so that's a game you might play with over time. Again, the point of this is number 3, we need a foundational video. It is great. I'll tell you this. It is great when you can go in just from a engagement standpoint. So this has nothing to do with search real quick, but from an engagement standpoint, if you were able to walk up to a manager or a business owner and say, hey, you're so-and-so, I'm Mr. Chatsworth, I just want to say thank you. I love being at your restaurant today, and get that person to say something. Just from an engagement standpoint, it's very engaging when we actually get to talk to a small business owner, even if it's just that 2-second hello, here I am. So from the content perspective, meaningful. The lesson here is We want you guys going out, again, key to get this piece of pick a restaurant, pick a business, doesn't matter what it is in your local market, and go out and check the box here in terms of getting this one done. But ongoingly, regularly, you need to be looking at businesses that you could be going out and just doing a quick interview, or just like I said, stopping by, grabbing a quick selfie style video of yourself. Hey, I just had a chance to stop in. Again, I love Chatsworth, using Chatsworth. I love Chatsworth, and I love that Porto's is here in downtown. This is always where I like to treat my favorite customers or special people in my life with one of their great pastries, right? That's all the video has to be. So anyway, video number 3, interview restaurants. Do it in this first couple of days to kind of build your foundational pieces, but then we're gonna, looking at scheduling, frequently going and visiting different businesses. Again, when a potential customer looks at your channel, what does it say to them when they see that you've visited over a dozen restaurants in the last year or so? It says you're a man of the town or a woman of the town. You own this community, you're part of this community. So really think it's a really important piece of content to be including, and that's why we've included in the top 4 foundational pieces. And let me jump to the last one. Okay. So how do you affiliate yourself with local and specific properties and neighborhoods? Okay, I call this neighborhood level content, but through some experimentation, trial and error, if you will, we know that specifically including listing addresses, finding available listings and including the addresses is a very powerful way to keep your content relevant for a very long period of time. You do not have to be the agent on that property. I know there's rules around, hey, what properties you're showing, but again, the simplest example that we've seen with Mitch's help is going out and standing in front of a property specifically that we know is on the market. It's available, and you would be willing, able, and legally allowed to go show that property to any buyer that came to you, right? So standing out there in front of the property, again, you guys all have a list of the available properties in your market right now. To be able to consistently go out there, whether it's on your broker's tour each week or it's just on your own to-do list, that you go out at least once, maybe twice a week and stand in front of a property and say, hey, there's a property available at 1234 Main Street. I would love to be able to show you this property. If you're in the market for this property or any other properties here in this community, give me a quick call. I'm Mr. Chatsworth, or I'm Mr. whatever. Reach me at this number, right? Number, name, brand. Again, what we're going to highlight here in the next section is the titles, descriptions, and tags. And so specific addresses, including specific addresses, even though that property is going to fall off the market in a relatively short amount of time, people will continue to do searches within that neighborhood in very like addresses. Because
so here's the thing behind that listing that I want everyone to realize. All right. What happens is we've got these listings in Zillow and in Redfin, and you can see Realtor and Compass are getting in our way. We had that listing 9557, he misspelled Meadow on the bottom, but Meadow Street in Rancho Cucamonga, right? We put that video up, and in 2 hours, because we just titled it the address, we were on the homepage of Google. Now what's happening is when people are driving by and they're Googling the address for more information, they're not going to Zillow because Zillow only has pictures. They're going to the video. We ended up double ending that deal because somebody driving by Googled the address, saw the video, and called us direct. So I think that is the most important thing that I want everyone to take away right here is we're already doing video tours of our listings, right? But what's happening is we're putting them up on Instagram, we're putting them up here, we're putting them up there. But what we're not doing is we're not putting them up on YouTube and just very specifically saying, this is the address. You want to see the inside of this house? This is the address. And when we bring it down to that level, Google loves it, and they're going to put us on the homepage. And it's how we can compete with Zillow and these other, we can get on the homepage within hours. That specific video, it was about 3 hours. We were on the homepage, and we're still there. right? So again, now we've got advertising, because what's going to happen is the house is pending. How much did it sell for? You've got your sign on the front lawn. So it's very important that every single listing that we have, we do that. And what John was saying, we've even tested with is that I'll get up in the morning in Pomona, I'll drive to an active listing, I'll stand outside of the listing and do a 30-second video saying, are you Googling 653 East Alvarado Street? I'm a local agent. I'm Mr. Pomona. I can show you the inside. Please, please make sure that you, we use Canva, Dan. Please make sure you call me if you want to see a tour. Little 30-second video. Again, I go to my office. I post that. That listing went live. My video's on the homepage. Does that make sense to everyone? Dan, I used Canva for that one. We didn't have an actual video. We just used, for that one in particular, we just took the pictures from our photographer, because we didn't have a video, and just made like a Canva type video. Typically what happens is I'll just take my cell phone and do while we're there with the photographer, or I'll tell the photographer to shoot, a 45-second. You want the video to be about 60 seconds. And it's just the fastest way to get your listing on the homepage. Does that make sense? So John, show us how they load that up so that they can be on the homepage.
Yeah, so we'll jump in there. Just one thing I want to add about neighborhood level content, because you bring up Zillow and Realtor.com, and we've talked about this between Mitch and I before, is of course Zillow can target, big cities, major cities. They obviously, the power of them putting all that information on every property in America on there. And really you're getting the benefit of piggybacking on everything they already do, right? So Google speaks their language, loves their language, and as Mitch was just saying, now you have one of the only video content pieces, or only one of the completely independent video content pieces that isn't buried into the listing information, that isn't specific to Zillow. So they love that, because Google loves to optimize video, because they know that we as people love video. I mean, when we see a video icon versus a link icon, we typically click on the video icon. So that's why they're putting it up there, because we know we love video. And we've basically ridden on the coattails of everything that the Zillows and Redfins and Realtor.coms and all these things do very well in optimizing that content. So to neighborhood level, the reason the restaurants are so important, right? It kind of goes back to this. The reason talking about certain neighborhoods, right? Zillow can't always optimize very well to neighborhoods and districts and communities, right? They don't always go by the official name. They're a south of Main Street, right? They're a such and such a complex, right? So Mitch has had some success with a particular community. When we go out and we film, hey, leisure world, communities or whatever, right? Those are going to be very popular searches. So when you identify a community name and go do a quick video in that community name, that's likely something that Zillow, Realtor.com has not done as well. And that's really an opportunity for you to stand out. So when you talk with me in general about the types of content that I preach, if you will, that I advise people to create, I'm always talking to them about creating neighborhood level content down from the city or town, because the city and town names are just ones that Zillow and Realtor.com can have any programmer sitting in any office in America create some content around and produce. But only you as a local can produce localized neighborhood content that's really meaningful to your audience. And so think about that. What are the areas, the parks, the things that you can talk about that wouldn't necessarily make the radar screen of those bigger players, but that would be meaningful to your home buyers? Highlighting a local park, a local shopping district, a local community, a south of such and such, or a north of this, are going to be terminologies and things that the locals know, and they have an immediate respect and appreciation, and you're kind of outsmarting the these bigger players in the real estate market, right? These information super engines, right? Okay, so let's get to, like Mitch was saying, let's dive right into actually getting some of this stuff done. And I can physically show this. And again, Mitch should just give me the feedback if I need to like stop share and reshare, if I need to unshare and then go into my Google and show it. But I did try and create kind of a slide walkthrough. And so everybody should have received an email introducing you to your page. And has everybody received that email? Does anybody have any concerns about accessing their page at this point? If so, not a big deal. We can still go through the lesson and we'll just circle back with you, but you do make sure you reach out.
Hey, John, this is Jeff. We've got some folks that just barely got their applications in and just were accepted in the last week. I invited them to this training session, but they do not have all the piece parts in their portfolio set up yet. We're just getting started with a few of them.
So,
Yeah, perfect.
So those people, you will get an email. If you have a Gmail account already, that means you have a YouTube account of your own. You will get an email from our admin once we've created your Mr. or Mrs. YouTube page. So you will have a page created for you. Mr. Pomona, Ms. Corona, a YouTube page will be created from you, and you will get sent that to you. The page sent to me is our, yes. So what happens is that you'll have your original YouTube page, and then when you go into your account, you can switch accounts. So you can switch between the two, Dan. John, let me see. Let me share my screen and show.
And I can demo it if you want me to. I have that email from Chris, and I can always do it.
So Dan, let me show you where that is. So here you have your account, and it's just down here, switch accounts. So now I'm posting as Mr. Pomona. So you, and then again, when you're done, see it says now I'm Mr. Pomona, I go back to my main channel. So you'll have the editor, you will have the editing advanced for your specific YouTube page. And it's just all about then titling it. So we're going to show you how to do that. Are you, Kelly had a question, sorry.
Yes, thank you. So the last email I received was on the 12th, and it did not speak to my page specifically. So I'm not sure if I've received that information.
It's really easy. If you go to if you go back to, if you haven't got it, then send me, I'm going to put my email also in the chat room. Jeff?
Yeah, Kelly is one of the new people that won't have gotten anything yet.
It's on it. So it's on its way, Kelly.
I know.
But once, like I said, did you see how I went there? I can show it again. So once you're on your page, you'll just go basically down, and you should have, I have multiple ones, but whatever Gmail account you gave us is the one we'll send it to. All right. And then, so the way YouTube works is that your Gmail account is going to be your personal account, and then we can give you access to other accounts as well. All right. All right. Cool. All right, John, let's show them.
Yeah, multiple. Okay, I'm going to move. I think my gardener is done tearing up my garden. So I'm going to move back to the office. I apologize about that, guys. So do know that we want to be a highly, I say this with caution, but I'm going to say it. I want to be here to support any of you, right? So if there is one-off questions or things happen, know that, I have a commitment to customer service, trying to get things resolved for you. So never hesitate to reach out. Like I said, it's easier to say that in an audience of 6 people versus when we've got hundreds of people on here, but I do want to help you. So Kelly, anybody else, you run into some glitches, things, we do have a great support team.
So do you need me
we'll be able to manage it.
Can you show how to upload these videos correctly?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, let me dive in there. Okay, so again, like he said, we should be able to toggle very quickly between accounts if you don't have an account, and get into that account. And when you land on that account, so I was mentioning to Mitch this morning, I realized if you haven't, maybe it was a while ago, you created a YouTube account and a YouTube channel for yourself, and maybe you have never created a YouTube channel for yourself. So there is a little bit of setup. It's not going to keep you from posting content and putting your channel up, but I do want to mention that there's an opportunity to personalize and customize the pages that opportunity to personalize and customize these pages. And so you're going to want to go in and just take the time to scroll through a couple of the sections and look at, again, is the logo you want? Is it the headshot that you want? There is a place when you first go in here to the YouTube channel and you're setting up your page to put in a general description of your services, who you are. And this is going to be a little bit similar to the lesson I'm going to go through on your individual videos. Grab this window. Kill my background list. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out real quick. Is that you can dive in and just kind of walk yourself through the channel customization page and go through. There's a tab that's your layout, your branding, and then the basic info. And so not mission critical, your page is live, you can start uploading video, but don't neglect going back and just setting up, taking the maybe 5 or 10 minutes at most to kind of create that core descriptions and information about the page. Okay. Let's see where I'm at. Okay. So again, making sure you have a profile photo. There's a cover photo. Again, a lot of people don't do it, but you can pull a graphic, a headshot. Make sure your name's representative, the description, the keywords, all that kind of information. Okay. So now let's jump into an actual.
John, we can't see your screen.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Get back to share. Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Okay, best practices here. So with every video, when we upload it, you're simply going to go up to that right-hand upper corner within your channel, and there's going to be a spot to upload. And I'll show you that in a second, where you can actually upload these. You can do this on your phone as well. So you can download the YouTube app and make it real easy and click on the app. And so when you make a video on your phone, you can push the little plus symbol down in the middle navigation bar at the very bottom on your mobile phone or mobile device. What I find is challenging with doing it from the mobile device is that it's easy to title and describe it, but some of the additional areas where you want to populate information like the tags, some of the additional location things are not always as easy to find on the phone, not as easy to navigate, but you should be able to do a majority of it. So again, you're out in the field, you saw a property, you wanted to make a quick video, it's okay to go ahead and load it up right there. You may need to come back when you're back at the office later in the day and go back and fill in some of that information just so that it's fully optimized. You don't want to take the time to make a great video, have a great piece of content there that you haven't fully optimized. So best practices, again, you can write up to 100 characters in the titles on these videos, but 70 is really what's going to show, right? So when we're looking at that Google search, when we're looking at those results that are coming up, those 70 characters are going to be ones that actually show in the title. If you go more than that, you're going to start losing the visibility to that content. So that's why it's a best practice. And with each title, with each video you create, you want to cover one topic. You don't want to tell everybody about the whole real estate industry in any one video, or take them through too many different topics or points of view. You want to come up with a concise message for each video, and then you want to capture that in these 70 characters. So again, your city, state, first name home buyer grant program as an example here, up to $58.90 for free, right? Very clear what that video is about. Hey, I'm here in Carlsbad, I'm here in Chatsworth, I'm here in Pomona talking about first time home buyer grants up to $58.90 for free. Ask me about it, right? Or 10 creative ways to save for a down payment to buy a home in 2022. As Scott was saying, these lists of, hey, 5 things to know, 10 things to know, 3 things to know. People love that type of content. Anytime there's a short list like that. So that's relevant and meaningful. And those are the type of things that you can put right there in the title, and it immediately tells those people exactly what it's about, and it's going to allow it to get optimized. Okay. So the description, so much room to use. There's like 5,000 characters. It feels like there's no limit to the space on the descriptions, right? So again, typically in a description, I think the best practice is to go right back in and put the title, okay? But then to start putting in much more detailed descriptions. And even in descriptions, I sometimes get away from just the core of that video, but back to the description of all the services and things I provide as a real estate professional, right? I'm using this almost, again, as a keyword archive, a keyword bank, right? Going, what are all the different ways? So home ownership, property investment, home buying, home selling, real estate Chatsworth. How do I calculate closing costs? What are the mortgage rates? Right? Like all the things that somebody might be thinking and asking around that related topic. And then again, do I have my phone number in there? Do I have Mr. Chatsworth or Mr. Carlsbad or what? Absolutely. I've got every single possible search terminology that relates to my brand, right? And again, when I was talking about setting up the video phone versus a computer, and we'll get into this in a minute, there's some drop downs and things that can make these searches more relevant. So we really focus on the titles, descriptions, and tags, but I do want you to, and we'll show that, I do want you to be thorough, and it'll become very easy and habitual. This isn't a lot of detail, but there's just a few little checking the boxes, scrolling down on a few of the details here that are just going to help your video stay optimized, right? So let me get down here and show you just a quick visual example that I put on the screen here. So again, I talked about, I've created that video. There's this button. I hope you guys can see that on your screen in the upper right. When I've got my YouTube channel open, there is a button that looks like a red camera with a little white plus sign on it. It says create, and I've highlighted it in yellow for this example, right? When I click on that create, it pops up this window and allows me to search and select for that video. So again, on your phone, it's going to be a little plus symbol, and it's going to allow you to grab it, and it's going to go right to your photos on your phone and grab it from there. Here on the computer, it's going to be looking for where you saved that. So maybe you've emailed it to yourself, maybe you've got a connected device, and so it's automatically showing what you already videotaped. But either way, you're going to want to go up to that right-hand create button. You're going to want to search for that video, grab it, and upload it. Once you've uploaded it, this is when we can get into these titles, tags, and descriptions here. So I've made sure that I really called out a couple of the things, like I said, on the details here of, we do want to make sure we mark this thing besides just our titles, descriptions, and tags, that we're putting this in the English language. Noted the post date. Again, one of the things that made that video so relevant was, of course, the address. I think the 9557 Meadows address was the address. That it was a piece of video content, a standalone piece of video content, and the fact that it was very relevant. What made it so relevant? The day that we published it. It was brand new content. I don't want to see old content per se over new content. I choose new content, and so does Google. So Google optimized based on the location, the address. Again, just telling English language, little simple things like that you just kind of learn to kind of just go through as your checkoff box, and you just go down the list, get a good title, 70 characters, get that long description, all the keywords, go in and check some of these additional, oops, really good. So here's a good example. The title, a much more robust description. You can see I always put my signature in my description because I got 5,000 characters. Why not? Funny thing that I've learned, again, just a side note, make myself laugh sometimes, is you can actually pick the thumbnail image. Oops, I apologize about that. You can pick the thumbnail image. So it's looked at your whole video and it gives you a couple of choices. There's been a lot of times where I haven't paid attention to that. If you go look at my YouTube channel, there's a bunch of funny faces I'm making on my video. So there is an option for you to pick that nice smiling video before you start talking, that might what we call a thumbnail, to make it so that every time somebody's looking at your video, that there is a face that you would be happy for people to see. When I go look at my YouTube channel, I laugh because I never paid attention to these thumbnails when I was early on developing content. And so there's a bunch of them where I'm mid-sentence or mid-talking, and it always gives me a laugh to go there. And I call it my funny faces. Sometimes I make that a Facebook post. I post out there, look at come see my YouTube channel and see all the funny faces I make in my video, right? Just a reason to drive people to my traffic. But again, titles, descriptions, you can see here, tags. Again, best practices, the phone number multiple ways, okay? We want to know that people search and type in things in different ways. So kind of be thinking of the different ways you can rewrite the same words or phrases, phone numbers, all those type of things, right? After every tag word, when you're in there, it's a comma. You don't have to put a hashtag. You can put, again, real estate Carlsbad. Comma is what tells the system that you're done with that word. And you go on and type the next one, comma. You can sit there and just type out all your keywords. Or you can create a cheat sheet. You could have somewhere on a notepad, a digital notepad, on a draft email, something like that. You could have a saved document that has all your tags. That's just an easy way where you're only having to modify a couple of those, right? So if you happen to be making that video out in front of Portos, maybe you're going to add Portos to the description terms and to the tags. But a bulk of them, maybe you've created this list of all your different real estate terminology, your brand, your phone number, your name. And so you're cutting and pasting and dropping that in. And that's just like I said, that's just a quick hack to make it easier to publish this type of information, okay? Again, just being thorough. You can see here where I've created these tags, and because I put a comma after each one, it individually turned them into search terminology. So things in my thing are always like mortgage rates, property investment, all these different types of terminology. It can be fairly robust in here, right? Typically, your best 15 to 20 are really going to be what drives it, but I haven't necessarily seen a limitation in this yet. You don't need to go crazy, but you do want to make sure you hit all your your key brand names, your phone number, your tags, all those type of things. And then again, the dates, the names, all that. So just be thorough. Okay.
So Scott asked how many tags. Is there a limit? So here's the thing, Scott. I think one of the things that sometimes people try to do with SEO is that they try to make one video go for hundreds of people, right? So for example, when I'm doing my listing video, the tag is just the address again. It's just very specific that I want this address. When I did my phone number video, I just put in the phone number and the tags a certain amount of ways, right? Because I wanted to push what Google's looking for is what's very important is that we definitely put in the record date, right? A lot of people leave that blank because they want the newest information, and that we also say what city we filmed it in. People leave this recording stuff out all the time that John's showing on the screen, the recording date and the location. If we're gonna be Mr. Carlsbad, then every video we do in this series should be tagged in Carlsbad. Because now what's happening is Google's like, oh, well, this is the latest video on Portos. This is the latest video on this house, right? So I don't think it's the amount of tags. I just think you want to keep the tags very specific. Don't try to go off the best real estate agent. And here's the other thing that I want you to remember. This is all about keywords that people are actually going to type. All right. Lexus had a problem with this because what we do is we type in the word cheap Lexuses. Well, luxury brands don't want to be known as cheap, but that's what people are searching for, right? Just keeping each video very specific to one title and to one thing and just keeping them short, right? So if this is a listing about this house, the tag should be about, and you may know, like, for example, I live in an area in Pomona that's called Lincoln Park, right? It's a very specific neighborhood within Pomona. It's a historic homes. It's, there's very specific things. So putting those keywords in there is because what we're doing is we're not trying to drive a lot of traffic to each post. We're trying to drive very specific traffic to those posts. So it's a lot more. I've put up the same video with 3 or 4 different titles so that I'm making sure that I'm hitting all the things. All right. So it doesn't matter the amount. It's just making sure you're very specific and not reusing the same ones over and over and over again.
Yeah. And I think that kind of goes back to the theme of like titling. So when we create content, we do want it to be a little bit narrow in the scope, right? We just can't be everything to all people in every video. And so it's looking at, and this kind of goes to, as you plan content, what are the type of things I can talk about? And you don't necessarily talk about them all in one conversation. Nobody's going to try and digest the whole world of real estate and watch 20 videos in a row per se, right? If they do, great, but let's give them that opportunity to hone in on those topics. So same thing with the tags, right? Like we could, okay, example, real life hack, right? Pokemon came to market and everybody was all excited about the new Pokemon. And there was all kinds of businesses out there that were getting people to see their web content and their brand because they were like, hey, Pokemon just came into my store, right? But the reality is a lot of people, they created some internet traffic, but they didn't necessarily capture their target audience. They didn't have meaningful conversations, even though they had a ton of traffic. It wasn't, you guys don't want to spend your whole day talking to people that have no ability to buy a home or have ability to refer you somebody about a home. So we want to think about, we want to talk to people that want to talk to us, right? If we knew as salespeople, that's at the end of the day, we're business owners, we're business developers, we're salespeople. On any given day, I don't want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to people that are interested in home financing today. The people that aren't interested in home financing till tomorrow, I want to talk to them tomorrow, and so on and so forth, right? So being narrow in your title so that you hone in on that. You can be a little broader, like I said, in your description, but not getting so far away, but definitely, like I said, the relevant terminology. And then your tags, you're going to kind of develop those key tags, and they're going to be around those key phrases and brands and search terminology, like home buying, like home selling, like best realtor in Carlsbad, like those type of things. Does that make sense for everybody?
We have like 3 more minutes. Does anyone have any questions?
I have one quick question. When you say your name, adding your name to the videos, are you saying, Miss Palm Desert every time? Or are you saying Kelly Tweedy, Miss Palm Desert, or Miss Palm Desert, Kelly Tweedy? Or is it just for this purpose, Miss Palm Desert?
The video itself, say whatever you want.
Okay.
All right. The title, so Google can't read the video necessarily. They want to, and they're getting it. Right now they can't read. So in the content of the video, say it however you're most comfortable.
Okay.
The description, what we're asking for in the beginning is 4 videos. So you're going to do 1 video. The description is just going to be the phone number that you use to call people. Right. And again, when I just told Nico that I do multiple things, I have multiple phone numbers. So I have a landline I call people from. I have a cell phone that I call. So I taped an introduction video, and in the beginning, I just redo, did you get a call from this phone number, right? That's me, most likely. This is who I am. It's just a 1 minute. This is who I am. This is why I'm calling you. All right. So they feel like they know me. And then also when I became Mr. Pomona, people were like, well, who is Mr. Pomona and why? So again, the description was just Mr. Pomona real estate agent. And now when you Google Mr. Pomona real estate agent, a video of it's me telling you who I am, right? And in that video, I very clearly say, I'm Mitchell Stein. The DLE network gave me this designation. I don't take it lightly, right? But I know Mr. Chatsworth, he doesn't say his name in a lot of his videos. If he's still on here, he just says, this is Mr. Chatsworth. He doesn't say Frank Spencer in a lot of his videos. The person who kind of came up with this, his last name is Gerchel. Nobody can say or spell it. So he doesn't say Gerchel. Nothing personal, but so he just says, so it's whatever. But what we're trying to say is, like, we want to do the titles. I think what happens with the titles is sometimes people say, like you said, there's too much information there, so Google doesn't know where to put it, right? So I want you to be like, okay, I'm sorry, what city, I didn't catch what city you said, but I'm going to pick on Mr. Chatsworth again. But Mr. Hi, I'm Mr. Chatsworth. And then this video is just titled Mr. Chatsworth Real Estate Agent, right? And that 30, 60-second video. And what I do, I have button-up shirts, is I'll go to a park with 6 shirts and make a video about the park, make a video about this, make a video, you know, mess up my hair a little bit. And then I've got my 6 videos, right? For the listings, everyone on my team, they send me their listing video and I upload it with the address, right? And it's just the address. It's just, here's, you know, it takes me an extra, what, 20 minutes to, you know, and you could really have your TC or whoever does your photographs on your team do this for you. You already have these videos, or you already have these tours done because you're putting them on the MLS. But now we're just saying, we want you to also put them on YouTube, and the description is just the address. You know, the title is just the address. The keywords are just the address. Now, if someone Googles that address, it comes up. I know that nobody here wants to do mobile homes, but we tested it out. Mobile homes, for example, have one address for the whole park, right? So the Fountain Senior Living, if you Google the Fountain Senior Living mobile home park now, I'm the only one that did a video. It comes up. We've gotten 4 listings. The poor girl that does mobile homes on her, she's mad at me. But we did it because we were trying to test like how fast and how long can those stay up on the home pages. So what's great about a lot of us, I know Scott, for example, he has condos in his territory, right? That again, it's one address in a bunch of units. So people are daily Googling that address or the name of that condo complex. So if you title your video that name of that condo complex and just stand outside and be like, this is how much condos cost in this building, and this is what they sell for, and da 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 da. It doesn't have to be very long, but now when somebody's Googling it, you're going to show up on the home page every time somebody, because who else is doing this? Who else is doing a video? And video is what people want to see, right? We have someone in the valley that he just drives down like busy streets, and the video is just the busy street because people are Googling addresses on that street. I think what happens with the titles is people will put, or the descriptions is they're like, you know, oh, your dream home or this or that. These are not things that our people are searching, right? But what
I'm not typing in dream home, but I might be typing in, again, that local complex, or like I said, parks, destinations, like I said, that aren't necessarily, you know, there aren't going to be the Redfin and Zillow type things, right? If there's a downtown park, now you might be talking about that neighborhood. So we go back to neighborhood level content. Hey, I'm here at Grayson's Park, infamous park here in this local neighborhood of such and such in my neighborhood, right? But your title was all about that park. How many families meet at parks and do different things at the parks in your community, right? And you talk about being that local neighborhood expert. So thinking about destinations, you might not have thought about that park as a destination previously, right? But in the term, in when you put on that brain, I call it my mommy brain, sorry, as an adult, I think about how many times I met at the parks with my little boys and met other families and other dads and kids, right? And things like that. So those destinations, that's an example. The complexes, the communities. So again, they may not necessarily be, you know, again, a leisure world, a retirement home, a certain mobile home park may not be your target. Like, hey, I want to be known for selling every unit in that property. But the very fact that that property is prominent in your community and that you can capture eyeballs of other people in that community that have relationships, friends, or family that might live in there, again, you are creating a portfolio of content to be most searchable so that all different types of searches will in some way yield at you as a result. Frank went to Porto's and had lunch, and now he has search results to show it. He ate a pastry. Do we want to get deals from eating pastries? Yes, we do, right? And so it's about making those, having you constantly be shown up. not knowing, again, there'll be a ton of people like my Pokemon example that weren't really the relevant market, but isn't it great that there's a ton of eyeballs that somebody could have that relevance in you and your community, right? Like you're part of your community and branding that way. Kelly, back to your earlier point, I would put your name in the description. The whole idea of this brand, Mr. Gershall, the whole concept of this is because brands that are very memorable are likely, oh, I worked with Mr. Carlsbad. I had such a great experience. His real name is Scott, but you know, he was this, right? Like that's what we want the conversation to look like. It's just that easy branding, and that over time people would naturally look at the best realtor would be equated to Mr. Carlsbad, Scott Stoller, right?
Yeah.
Like
A lot of you are already doing this on social media, right? I'm going to you know, Disneyland, and I've done whatever, you know, you're putting these things up on Instagram and stuff like that. But Instagram and TikTok, that they have like a shelf life of like 72 hours, right? But YouTube has a shelf life of, it can be years. So we just want you to sit there and take this content and post it up on a way that it's searchable now, right? Scott, you're already doing this. I mean, if everyone has to jump off, but can we look at your YouTube page real quick and see what your descriptions are?
You know, my descriptions, to be honest, is one thing that I've been having a challenge with.
Well, let's look at it.
But let me pull up.
Yeah.
Let me
Anyway,
pull up
if
the
you guys
link
want to
for
get
my
off, you're more
YouTube
than
and I'll-
welcome to, but I'd like to see yours if we can.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
I think you should be able to share if you go down. Yeah.
And the only other thing I would note, kind of just to end this conversation, again, anybody can jump off that doesn't want to, but just to plant the seed, is when you go and look at other people that are creating YouTube content in your community, start typing in real estate Claremont, real estate Carlsbad, real estate. Who else is making content? Okay, look at their content. Look at how often they're publishing. In most cases, you're going to find some great quality content that is being produced inconsistently. That's what I see in most communities, right? One day, an agent, one of your colleagues said, oh my gosh, I've got a great photographer today, so I'm going to make a great video. And then they did it, and then nothing happened for 6 months or a year, and then they created another one. Going out and creating consistent content, creating these listing ads and these local business videos frequently, a couple of months, is really going to help your.
All right. This is a prime example. Let's see that first videos. It's only that very first one. You were standing in front of a house. Can you go back? Yeah. All right. So that video, let's click on that video.
That's my market update.
It's your market update. Okay. So you're not in front of an actual home. Do you have a home tour?
I do when I go to, God, where the heck is it? So my market updates, I've been doing a formula where I'll pick 3 homes that are on the market currently, go stand in front of them, be like, hey, this one's in Carlsbad, it's 1.3. This other one, give a quick description, it's 2.2. And then I talk about the market.
Right. So the issue is that, see how you got 56 views, which is good, right? But see the address 1204, whatever the address is. You know, if you actually put, you know, you have your search engine here now. If you actually, so if this was your, do you have any that are listing tours of yours?
Let me go back. Yes, I do.
That's a market update, which is fine. What's on the market?
So this is one that I did for a listing.
All right, cool. So see what you did down here with your description. It's South Oceanside, California living, which is great, but no one's searching that. If you reload it, I would like you to reload this video with the address of this house. You would be on the first page of Google within a couple hours. Does that make sense?
Totally.
And it was your listing. And so the issue is that, you know, I want to see more. The pictures weren't enough. The pictures weren't enough. And when we go into more of the mastermind stuff, we talk about maybe putting less pictures on MLS. But the issue is that nobody is searching South Oceanside, California living. That's not what they're searching. Now, this is Sandpiper Cove, right? That's the name of this neighborhood.
Correct. That's the condo community.
Right. So it's a condo community. So Sandpiper Cove is a condo community. Is it one address?
No, each unit has its own street number.
It does? Okay. So, but Sandpiper Cove, like do a video just about Sandpiper Cove, Oceanside condominiums, right? Just do a video about that. It doesn't have to be very long. You can be standing in front of it. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to show you something real fast here. What I'm talking about is that so when you Google, this is very similar to a condo complex. So now I Google the Fountains Mobile Home Park, right? There's my video right there. First page.
Okay.
Right? So you get past the ads, first page right there. So what was yours, Sandpiper?
Yes, Sandpiper Cove.
Cove. And you're in Carlsbad?
That one's in Oceanside.
Okay. So what's happening is that, so who's this guy? Lundteen.
Not me.
You see what I'm saying? But see how he put
Yeah.
the address? 2140 South Coast Highway, Oceanside. So this was probably a specific one for him. So that's working. But now when I'm Googling it, he's showing up. Right? So if it's called Sandpiper Cove HOA, you should have a video. Just take this footage that you already have, throw together a quick video, but only title it Sandpiper Cove HOA.
And I would say, just to chime in on that, a best practice, guys. So one of the kind of more advanced next step, but meaningful right here in this conversation. When I have a listing, okay, right? I don't go shoot one video. When I'm out working with my realtor partners, I'm like, you have a listing today? This is great. So we're going to do a video about this address. Come see this. If you're a buyer, you're a seller. But then I'm like, let's do a neighborhood video. Let's walk through this house and use this as an example of homes in this neighborhood. And we might do a quick talk about what people love about this neighborhood. And homes in this neighborhood range from this price to this price. Most homes in this neighborhood were built in this time period. Most homes have 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? Whatever most homes have, right? You have a most home, you were there, take the extra 5 minutes, create 2 different videos, start playing with optimizing them both. One is going to be very specific to that address. You're going to optimize that to that address. You're also going to have another piece that talks about the neighborhood. Creating content doesn't have to take hours and days out of your life. You guys are already out doing the business every day. Take the second, the extra 2 minutes, the extra 3 minutes to capture a couple different pieces of content, and then you can use them in different ways. You can come back to the desk and kind of figure out how you're going to position them from your title, description, and tags.
Scott, do you know this person, the Bashi team?
I do not.
Okay, so see what he's done here. See, he's got Oceanside condos for sale / Sandpiper Cove. So what he did was, when I went to Sandpiper Cove, is he's gone to every condo complex in Oceanside, right? And did a video for each condo complex. So that's why him and the Lund team are showing up. There's only two that are showing up. So be number 3, and be number 3 in the sense that purposely target Sandpiper Cove on a couple videos. Right? So is there a nickname for it? Put that in the tags. Is there, right? work on the title and the description and the tags. The content of the video, once you have that kind of secret sauce, then you can work on the content for the video. Right? You already have some videos. You already have, it looked like some pretty beautiful footage of those videos. So it's just about doing it for just that complex. Because your video, when I put Sandpiper Cove, even when I look for videos, you see what I'm saying? We're not even when I'm looking for videos. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
number 3.
you are, this is you here. So we're number 3, but how do we Oceanside, California living? So the thing is like people aren't Googling, they may Google South Oceanside, but what you were trying to do is cover, like I said, you were trying to cover a giant broad, just cover that complex. Like, so Sandpiper Cove,
Totally, it makes sense.
and just target the crap out of it for that video. You're gonna have to have a lot more videos this way, but you're gonna get the results you want by doing it that way. So you're doing it already. It's just narrow it down.
It's the same thing you're experiencing, Mitch, with your mobile home park, right? Because the Sandpiper Cove is clearly the terminology that's popping up here. And so it's just adding one more layer, Scott, just getting in there with those specific addresses. Sometimes when they're not even your listings, like we were talking about before, when you can just highlight an address and keep bringing those specific addresses back. So if you see listings pop up in there every so often, purposely go and say, hey, this is another example of a great property featured here in Sandpiper Cove. Come see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, right? You're just kind of building that archive of stuff that's going to help your search results. Get people to your channel. They get to your channel. They see your great reputation. They see all that content. They're like, I got to work with Scott.
Everyone's jumping off. Scott, why don't we do this? Can you, because I want to make, you're already making the videos. We want to start, let's do this here.